One of my favorite questions I get on a regular basis: how can I sponsor or petition or bring a family member? Well, in order to do that, we first must determine what is your legal status in the United States, whether or not you are a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, as that makes a big difference. Legal citizens can petition spouses, parents, children, unmarried sons and daughters, married sons and daughters, and brothers. Now, the law defines married sons and daughters, and unmarried sons and daughters are sons and daughters of U.S. citizens that are over the age of 21. Uh, Now, legal permanent residents are permitted to sponsor spouses, children, and unmarried sons and daughters. Now, this is important. Why? Because the category you fall under will depend on when your visa will become available. For example, spouses and children of U.S. citizens, the visa is available right then and there. The moment you file your first petition, your I-130, your visa is available, and those individuals can technically come into the U.S. as soon as their case is approved. Where other categories like unmarried sons and daughters, or married sons and daughters, or brothers and sisters of U.S. citizens, or the legal permanent residence categories, those will have something called a visa wait, a visa bulletin wait, where we would have to look onto the visa bulletin and determine when your visa is available. Once we know that you qualify for one of these and we know how long the visa is going to, then the first things first, we got to start by preparing Form I-130 and providing all the supporting documents, aka the evidence that proves that the relationship between the U.S. citizen and the foreign national, and put it together and file it. Then after that, the next step will depend whether or not the individual is here in the U.S. or overseas, and it also depends on what category you're applying for. If you are an immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, again, immediate relative of a U.S. citizen, that is spouse, son, daughter, or parent of a U.S. citizen, then it doesn't matter when you enter the United States, as long as you enter the United States legally with a legal entry and admission, and you can petition even if they overstayed the visa. Now, other individuals, they must maintain continuous legal status in the United States despite the legal entry to be able to be petitioned for. And that's where it creates the hiccup, where we cannot petition for them immediately and obtain a green card for them immediately without leaving or obtain a waiver or something along those lines. Now, if the individual is not in the United States and overseas, then once the I-130 is approved and the case gets transferred to the National Visa Center, we start preparing the National Visa Center application, and once we submit that, including the sponsorship documents, a police report, and all that, the case gets transferred to a specific embassy or consulate overseas, where that individual, that beneficiary, gets to go to that embassy or consulate and attend an interview, provide medical reports, and provide the police report. And we should, if everything goes well and is approved, be issued a visa to come to the United States, an immigrant visa, which means a visa that upon entry of the United States will be issued a green card. Now, let's go back where an individual is already in the United States and wants to apply for a green card. Now, that one is a little bit more complicated, and we'll do a video more in depth for that because they require more steps. But again, it all depends on whether or not the individual is an immediate relative, whether or not the individual entered legally, and whether or not the individual maintained continuous legal residence. Those are the three most important things in that process, but there are a lot of other requirements that we must continue to pay attention to. We will provide a video in the near future discussing those avenues and how to petition an immediate relative who's already in the United States, and how to petition an individual that's not an immediate relative that's already in the United States.